problem so far.
Jeremy McGrath to the inside. So number one is showing us how comfortable he is on that number one bike. Which rider's going to make it to the main event? Jeremy McGrath. Number one is out in front, starting to get into some lappers already in our qualifying round. And here's the checkered flag. Jeremy McGrath, his 44th career Supercross win. He said it was coming.
This is great. This is like winning my first race all over again, and I think I'm back now.
That's how fast things can change. Look at Jeremy's riding so good now.
This is the white flag, the last lap for Jeremy McGrath.
Well, you know, I felt really smooth out there in my heat race that time. I mean, better than I have probably all year. I'm really excited about that race. I went around those guys pretty easy, so maybe I could do that in Maine.
Jeremy McGrath's going to show him a wheel or two here on the inside. Jeremy McGrath, his second lead of the Supercross season. The checkies for Jeremy, who's won every race that's been staged here Supercross-wise in this Metrodome.
All right, here's my first technique video. You're gonna have to bear with me. Sometimes it's gonna be a little boring. It's not an extreme riding tape. Obviously, we're gonna put some good shots to make it really interesting. But you have to remember, it's all about learning the basics. If you apply what you hear in this video to your laps, to your practice, I guarantee you're gonna learn something. So let's go have some fun.
Something missing, left behind. Searching circles every time I try. I've been here before, yeah. Seen you before. I can't escape winding down these halls. Had to find a place where there are no walls and no lines begging me to cross. Always straight ahead, better move along. Like clockwork, I commit the crime. I pretend to be everything they like. Been here before, yeah. I've seen you before. I can't escape walking down these halls. Hard to find a place where there are no walls and no lines begging me to cross. Only straight ahead, better move along. And I trade everything for this. And I trade everything for this. Why do I read the writing on the wall? Why do I read the writing on the wall? Why do I read the writing on the wall? Why do I read the writing on the wall?
Hi, I'm Jeremy McGrath. I've been racing motocross for the past 18 years. And what I'm going to do today is try and help you with some of the tricks, some of the tips, and techniques that helped me win races over the years. So, let's get started. All right, well, what we're going to try and learn today is what you need before you ride, such as safety gear, goggles, helmet, boots, knee braces, etc. We're also going to learn the setup of your bike, which I think is very important because you want to have the confidence when you go out there and ride. We're going to go over ride position on the bike. We're going to go over weight distribution, where you should transfer your weight back and forth into cornering and such. Also, we're going to go over how the clutch works and how you should use the clutch properly, and being in the right gear, of course, shifting. We're gonna really work on corners today, some of the techniques and tricks for taking the corner properly, and also we're gonna hit on some of the jumping. I'm gonna show you how to jump, what not to do and what to do. And that's pretty much it. We're gonna stick to the basics and start there. All right, well, let's go over some of the safety gear. I know myself, there's a few things that are absolutely a must, and one is for sure the helmet. Obviously, you never want to get on your motorcycle without having a proper helmet, so that's something that just should never happen. Also, you need to wear boots. I think boots are very, very important to the safety of your ankles, to your feet, to your legs, and it's really going to protect you there. I wear knee braces underneath my pants, which really protects my knees. And as long as you have something over your skin to protect your elbows, your knees, whether it be knee braces or knee cups, that's good. It also would help to have some good goggles. You don't want to get a rock in your eye when you're out riding in the dirt here. And just some gloves. And I think you're ready to go. We're going to go over a few things that I think you need to bring to the track with you. I like to bring a toolbox. You know, you need to have a tire pressure gauge, you need to have a spoke wrench, you need to have a few things just in case. I also like to bring some chain lube. I also bring some gas, bring a spare filter in case it's a really dusty day. And you never know what can happen. So let's go over to the bike here and figure out what you need to check before you get on the bike and actually ride. I like to go over the spokes, make sure all the spokes are tight. I think one thing that's really important is you check the tire pressure. I like to run 12 pounds in the front and rear. Everybody's a little bit different on that one. But it's really, really important that you go over the bike, make sure the chain's tight, make sure it's well lubed, and it's very important you take a look at the bike. You do it once over, you kind of make sure nothing's falling off. Take a set of T-handles or whatever you have in your toolbox and kind of go over some of the nuts and bolts. And you don't want stuff falling off when you're out there on the track. It could be dangerous. All right, now that we went over some of the general maintenance, let's get you up on the bike, get you set up, and I'm going to show you how I set my bike up to be comfortable for me. So let's get started on that. All right, so we're gonna go over a few things that are gonna help you with setting up your bike for you. First thing, when you're gonna adjust your handlebars, you wanna start with your handlebars loose. You wanna set them up in the, I would say somewhere in the middle position. If you get them too low, your elbows drop, it gives you a little bad form on the track. Same goes for if they're too far forward. So it's important I think you just start in the middle, kind of somewhere around there and figure out what you like. For your levers, you definitely don't want to be the guy with your levers all down or one down and one up. You want to start somewhere in the middle. I like to personally have my clutch lever just a little bit higher than my brake. So I think it's half your battle is your setup, because you got to really feel good about what you're out there on the track riding. All right, now that we have your handlebars adjusted and your levers in the correct positions, let's go over the brake pedal and the shifter. What I like to do is have my brake pedal adjusted pretty much even with the foot peg. I like to run a little bit of play in there also, because if the brake is too touchy, you're gonna stall or lock up the rear wheel, which is a very common mistake for people learning to ride. They put a lot of weight on the brake pedal and they stall the bike. So I would suggest you run a little bit of play. Now let's check out the shifter. Pretty much every new bike, the shifter position is in the right spot. If you have a used bike or this has been changed, or you find yourself going into neutral on occasion, the shifter could be too high. I like to run mine pretty much parallel to the foot peg, which is in stock position. If it's too low, it could cause you to miss a shift or be really awkward when you're out there on the track. If it's too high, the same. So I think the shift position should be pretty flat. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try and take you through the clutch, get you shifting at the right times and being in the right gear. First things first, obviously when you're taking off, you don't want anything to be too abrupt. You wanna just put the bike in gear and you want to apply a little throttle. You want to have a smooth release to take off. I think with the clutch, you really want to use 1 or 2 fingers. You really don't want to use 4 fingers and pull the clutch into your bar like that, because there's so much dead space there. And say you had all 4 fingers on the clutch, you really can't hold on to the bar. I mean, what if the handlebars start going sideways and you need to really hold on? As you can see, there's a little worn out spot right here from my hand grabbing. So I suggest you use 1 or 2 fingers. That way you can keep control of the bike. I would say that it's very important to try and do the same thing with the front brake. You always need to stay in control of the handlebars. And at the same time, if you use 1 finger here, you can still apply throttle like this, or let off, or whatever. If you have 2 or 3 fingers on the front brake, you're really not going to have good control of the bars, or, for instance, the throttle on this side is what's really important. So I suggest 1 finger here, 2 fingers on the clutch. I'm over here. Hey, are you listening to me? Okay. 1 or 2 fingers on the clutch, 1 or 2 fingers on the brake. The other 2 fingers on each hand, keep them on the bars to keep control. Smooth clutch release, smooth throttle. Are you listening? You get it? You're not getting it, huh? Go back and watch it again. Pay attention.